You've heard it 1,000 times, journaling can change your life. Today, I'll be telling you why, where, and how you should journal. I'll reveal my personal process and share valuable insights from years of journaling. Why should you journal? Journaling has a lot of benefits that lead to one powerful word, clarity. And a lot of people underestimate the power that having clarity has in changing their life for the better. On to the next challenge, where should you journal? There are those that swear by digital journaling and others prefer a physical journal. I've tried both and I currently use a mix of both physical journaling and digital journaling, but I find that I lean towards digital journaling for a few reasons. However, if you're just starting, where to journal doesn't really matter. All that really matters is for you to just start journaling, and with time you will figure out what works best for you. Pro tip from someone that journals on their phone a lot: make sure that your phone is always on do not disturb when you're journaling, and make sure all the notifications are turned off. We've gotten where to journal out of the way. Now let's talk about how I journal. Journaling for clarity. I have a prompt on my phone that reminds me to journal at 7:30 every day, but I don't restrict myself to just that. Whenever I feel like there's something I need to write, I just open my journal and write it down. I don't document every event that happens in my life. I've seen people that do that, and honestly that doesn't work for me. I just write down what I feel like needs to be written down, and trust me, when you open your journal app or when you just get a pen and paper, it will just start flowing out of your head naturally. The connections and insights I get from just writing gives me so much clarity. Journaling for self-accountability. As the Alpha Umar Farouk, the second Khalifa, said, "Hasibu anfusakum qabla an tuhasabu, wazinu a'malakum qabla an tuzanu." I try and integrate self-accountability into my journaling every day. I have non-negotiables, things that I have to do every single day. And what I do at the end of the day is reflect back on the day and gauge if I did those things well. And if there are any obstacles, I try and journal about how to get rid of those obstacles. You can use this also for tasks that you set for yourself to do every day. Just sit down with your pen and paper or with your app and think, what are the things that mean so much to me in this season of my life? What are the things that will take me where I want to go? What are the things I need to do every single day to make a difference in my life? Write those down and gauge yourself at the end of every day to see the progress you've made. Without doubt, gratitude journaling has to be my favorite type of journaling because this has changed my life in many ways. It is a simple practice, but it is very effective. What I do is I just write down 3 things I'm grateful for at the end of every single day. Not necessarily at the end of the day. If something happens during the day that I'm very grateful for, I open my journal and write about it. As I said in a previous video, the most important thing about gratitude journaling is not necessarily just writing down what you are grateful for, but being grateful to the one who blesses you with all those things you are grateful for. And as you all know, Allah said, "La in shakartum la azidannakum." The most influential man on earth said, "Man la yashkurun nas la yashkurullah." So gratitude journaling also involves showing gratitude to people. It makes you appreciate the people around you and the good that comes from them, and that will improve the quality of your life and your mental health. For example, I'm grateful today that my friends came over and I had an amazing time, and honestly, just thinking about that and knowing that I'm going to write that in my journal this night really fills my heart with joy. Always express gratitude to people, no matter how small what they did to you is, because in the end it is benefiting you in this world and in the hereafter. Gratitude journaling also makes you more generous. I have noticed that because of gratitude journaling, I tend to realize all the blessings in my life. It gives me more motivation to be generous. And generosity is a high value trait that is encouraged by Islam. There's something that I call the comparison trap, which is something a lot of people fall into these days, especially with social media, where a lot of people post their blessings, and it is easy to see other people's blessings and think less of your blessings. Gratitude journaling solves that problem for you, gives you a good self-image, and helps you get out of the depression, or in fact, it stops you from getting into the depression that a lot of people fall into by comparing themselves to others. Once you're done watching this video, write down 3 things you are grateful for. Do that for 10 days, and if that doesn't improve your life, come back to the comment section and write whatever you want. Journaling for emotional release, especially someone like me that doesn't like talking about his feelings to other people. Having the ability to write that down in my journal really helps me process my feelings and my emotions. Whenever I feel tense, depressed, or have a bad feeling and I write it down, I literally feel like a rock was lifted off my chest. I feel the weight completely off off. I'm able to compartmentalize my issues, my traumas, and I know that it's safely hidden on my phone and I can go back to it whenever I need to work out those feelings. I'm sure you've come across a few people where when they're dealing with issues, they treat all the people around them very badly. But with this, you can compartmentalize your issues digitally and go back to them when necessary. Journaling for habits. As human beings, we all have waste-man tendencies, which sometimes can get out of control. What I do when I find out that I'm getting addicted to a very bad habit is to write down in my journal what the absolute worst case scenario would be if I continue doing this habit for the next 10 years. And honestly, the outcome is not good. It's a very uncomfortable vision that will keep you determined in losing that bad habit almost immediately. This also helps with good habits. Whenever I'm trying to cultivate a new habit or I have a good habit that I'm slacking on, I write down what my life will look like in the next 10 years if I continue doing that habit. And that gives me the motivation to build that new habit or to continue on a good habit that I have already. And if you even need a stronger motivation, you can use Hellfire and Jannah as your motivations, because obviously if you have wasteman attributes, in the end they're going to lead you to hell. May God save us from that. And if you have good habits, in the end, inshallah, they will lead you to heaven. May God take us all there. Learning. At the end of each day, after I've expressed gratitude to God Almighty and reflected on how my day went, I try to get lessons from that day. The beauty of journaling is that it reveals patterns, and the patterns are clear for you to see because they are written. Sometimes, even though you have patterns, but it's in your head, it's easy to brush it off. And when you brush it off, you won't make progress. In addition to trying to learn and gain wisdom from the occurrences of the day, I also highlight significant things I've learned and achievements from that day. Like recently, I learned a mad editing skill that you guys will probably see in a new video. And also, I learned how to read Surah Al-Rahman without mistakes. Things like that make you feel fulfilled. It makes you feel like you're achieving your goals and ultimately makes you feel like you're not a waste man. These small victories add up, and with time, you get to see how you've changed and how you've improved yourself. Journaling for decision making. I have a framework called the Triad Framework that I use for decision making, and it's usually in a separate template which I have on Notion. And it helps me make better decisions. We all know the better your decisions are, the better your life is. We'll talk about that more in this video. Thank you for watching, and don't be a waste man.